being more of a parent than a partner. And this is what we went through as well. We have 2 kids, now 18 and 16, thankfully. And there basically was a time when you and I, we wanted to be that perfect parent. And especially for me as a mom, it's always about the kids. The kids, the kids, the kids, especially when you have a newborn, especially when you have little kids. But even if you have kids, there is still you as a couple. And there needs to be you as a couple. Because if you prefer your kid around or over everything in your relationship, this can basically lead to a loss of connection, a loss of intimacy, especially intimacy. And communication is a big thing and a big struggle for lots of people. And we had that too. Like, there was basically no communication because we were always tired and we prioritized the kids over us.
Which is normal because you think you want to be there for the kids.
Of course.
And your kids are basically your center of your
attention.
of attention, of course, and of your
Yeah.
relationship,
Yeah.
and which feels good. I mean, when we got our kids, son first, daughter second, it was a set of attention because it was new, it was beautiful, it was something that
Exciting.
It was exciting. However, like after a while, we figured out that, or was it me? I think it was me, that like everything went to the kids, but nothing was to me anymore because everything was around the kids. So basically, our own relationship was suffering. Suffering is the right word. I would say yes.
Kind of. Yeah.
Kind of was suffering on the part that all the attention was driven to the kids. Everything was around the kids. All the scheduling around the kids. And then we a little bit got lost in our own daily routine because it was all about the kids. There was not a lot of us time anymore.
And we didn't have any help back then. We didn't have any parents or friends who supported us with the kids, because we were living very much apart from our parents.
Yeah, we used to live in the US and
Our parents in Germany,
close to San Francisco, and yes, and the kids and my kids and our parents, of course, in Germany. So there was no support that we can have. And we said, hey, can we have some couple time?
Yeah, and sorry, but today I say this was the best thing that happened to us, that we didn't have any support, because we went through this ourselves and we made it. And even if we struggled back then, right now or today, for me, this was the best thing that we didn't have any support.
Very true, because nobody could influence the way that we wanted to raise the kids.
Right.
So there was nobody that told us, hey, but why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
So in that perspective, yes, totally.
Yeah.
And the perspective of like having a babysitter available, which is then your parents are usually the closest relatives where you trust your kids.
Yeah.
We haven't had that.
Yeah.
So we actually had to figure out how we can manage that and how can we get some couple time. And during this process of trying to get couple time, which first of all, it takes a little while until you recognize that that something is missing.
Right.
It actually takes a while to figure out why it's missing and what happened.
Because the priority is the kid, right?
Yeah, because it's like it silently comes because you think it's normal, and for us it was normal. But then again, figuring out that you put attention to one thing, you lose attention to something else.
Right.
Yeah,
Which
but
is basically normal.
Yeah, which is it's normal at the beginning. So then we figured out how can we change that, and with our son we were thinking about, because our son was firstborn, we were thinking about what offerings are there. We used to live in Fremont, California, a beautiful city. What offerings are there for toddlers that we can use, that where we can have a little bit alone time? and we figured there was a beautiful little toddler. What was it called? Like a daycare.
Daycare, yeah.
And they took kids like 1 or 2 and older.
I don't even remember, but I
don't
think it was around 2-ish.
I would have to
where
check.
they- yeah,
But
I
anyway.
don't remember, but it was around.
And then we said, hey, why don't we just? And they charge. I don't know, at that time like $7 or
Yeah,
$8 per hour, which was good.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we basically asked them. What we basically schedule times with our kids for our kids to be there that we could use for our own time.
Mm-hmm.
And
At first, it was not easy to give your kid to someone like you don't know.
especially for my wife.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
this is like
definitely.
there's the emotional attachment for women are a little bit more than for men. I was more looking for having the time again where we can spend 1 or 2 hours, maybe for a cinema, like going to the theaters, watching a great movie,
that was fun.
short dinner afterwards in Union City at that time. So that was great. So with that we could have had the freedom, like paying $15-20 for 3 hours, then where we could have our couple of time and whatever we wanted to do in the couple time.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
And I remember one day it was just going back home and just cuddle, just enjoy the quiet time basically, where no kid is around and asking, "Mommy, Daddy, I want this, I want that," or whatever, and just getting the attention. This was like, for me, this was basically the best time because it was just quiet and we could do whatever we wanted and we were just cuddling, we were just enjoying each other, and this was the most fun for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be outside all the time. You don't have to go for dinner. You don't have to go to the theater. You don't have to go out. It can be a walk outside. It can be just on the sofa having a quiet time and cuddle or watching a movie at home or whatever it is. There is no perfect thing you can do.
So pretty much if you figure out that which is, again, please don't get me wrong, it's at the moment, it's at the beginning when you have kids, it's normal that there's a center of attention.
Of course.
However, at some point, figure out yourself that something else is missing, or your partner mentioned something else is missing, like the intimacy is gone, like the closeness is gone. When this happens, find a way, and obviously there are towns, cities that are offering these hourly based
daily daycare.
daycares.
Yeah.
Find them, approach them, and say, hey, can we for 2-3 hours, like every week or whatever, like use your services so that you can have your couple time again. And it really doesn't matter what you do while you have this time, as long as you do it together, as long as it's you and your wife or you and your husband bonding again.
Yeah, right.
You don't need to do it expensive, or you don't even need to do any dinner or whatever. Even if it's just walking around and in a very nice place, if that is what you want to do, then it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So again, there's no perfect thing.
No.
Just do what you want to do. Do what feels right for you and do what you need at that point.
And even if it's like your kid is sleeping and you find some quiet time during your kid is sleeping, because you usually know that at some point you figure out your sleep cycle from your kids, use that at the beginning. We used that once we figured out that we have to change something, that we want to be close again. Yeah. We used the sleep cycle of our son at that time to bond. To bond. Yeah. While he was sleeping, we were cuddling. And this is possible.
You don't have to do the household all the time when the kid is sleeping.
No. So it just takes a little bit of effort.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, thank you very much for listening, and see you in the next movie.
See you soon. Movie?
Movie!
Alrighty! See you in the next movie! Awesome! So see you in the theater.
Bye-bye. Movie.